Shoot. Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Just to get one thing out of the way to start off with, it's quite windy out today, so I do apologise if the camera picks up a bit of wind noise. I've got one of those dead cat socks over the top of it, so hopefully it won't, but if it does then apologies in advance. But we are here today to look at this, the Helikon Tex Covert M65 Jacket. Now you've probably, in fact definitely seen me, if you follow me on Instagram, testing out this jacket. I got it just before Christmas, so we've been through 3 of the coldest months that we've had here in the UK since 1995, if you believe the Associated Press, and it has been very cold. So I've made sure that this has been thoroughly tested, and I'm happy to say I love it. I mean, stop the video now. The Moorlander loves it. You know, you don't need to go any further. It's a cracking jacket, and what we'll look at today are the features of the jacket and exactly what you can expect from this. Now, not really going to turn the camera around, mainly because, you know, I'm trying to keep this out here so that you can see me. But at this point, you know, if you're new to the channel and you like this content, please feel free to hit the like button at any point. And if you're returning, or even if you are new and you'd like to subscribe at any point, hit the subscribe button. And yeah, you know the deal. Subscribe, do the subscribe thing. It's ace. Now, just a little bit of history about the M65 jacket, and this is just my own personal knowledge that I've picked up from bits and bobs. A lot of you may have more in-depth knowledge. In fact, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. But the M65 jacket was adopted by the US military coming out of the Second World War, where you're looking at the Korean War and the Vietnam War. You'll see films that made it very popular in the civilian environment. John Rambo, First Blood, that green jacket that he had on is an M65 style jacket, and also the main character from Taxi Drive as well. You know, looking at me. That was shockingly bad, but you know the jacket. So it was made very popular, especially outside of the military, when it was brought back from certain conflicts. Now this is a new and improved take on that M65 jacket. So some of the design aesthetics, the symmetry of the 2 breast pockets, the 2 lower pockets here for easy access to things, harken back to those original M65 jackets, but with, you know, that Polish Helikon Tex flair that they've added a little bit more into it, and this forms a part of their urban range. So if you are a covert operator, I guess, then, you know, this will be perfect for you. If you're a bit like me and just like a nice jacket, then it'll be great for you too. Let's get on some figures. So I'm 5'10". I'm about 200 pounds. I've got a 42-inch chest. The jacket that I'm wearing here today is the large jacket. It fits me just about right. If anything, I'd say that it's probably a tad too big. But I mean, that's good for me purely because if I want to put on a few more layers underneath here, then I can do. At this current moment in time, I'm simply just wearing a t-shirt underneath this. It isn't insulated, however it is lined, but there's just a little bit that we'll touch on that, because the way that the pockets work in this, it really does add extra layers of insulation. So you have the main outside layer, which is made from Helikon Tex Duracanvas, and then you have, if I open this, you have the inside lining. But because you also have a pocket here, then that's 2 extra layers. Pocket here, across the yoke of the back there is extra padding. No, there isn't extra padding. That is reinforced. That's the word I was after, you know, reinforced. And also on the elbows it's reinforced. There are also some really well hidden inside pockets as well, which again doubles up. So at one point, if I was to take here on my chest pocket, there's actually 6 layers of fabric before you actually get through to me. So although it isn't insulated, the amount of layers of fabric before you start to get through to somebody is kind of acts as a type of insulation. So what I've found testing this out through the winter is just wearing this with a t-shirt underneath. You know, I've got a chamois on today just purely because it is a little bit cold around the neck, but I've not needed to wear anything else. And on the days that I have worn a t-shirt and maybe a jumper underneath as well, I've actually found that I've been really hot, and I've either had to undo it, or I've had to take a layer off, or regulate my own temperature by taking my hat off. So indirectly they've done a very good job of padding this out without actually having to pad it out. It comes in 4 different colours. There is a black, a grey, a green, and then there is a green and black version. Now the green and black version, where you have the extra reinforcements on the shoulders and the yoke, and also on the elbows, they're in black and the rest of it's in green. I'm probably fast forwarding a bit, but one of the things, if I was to change or make any changes about this, generally I absolutely love this jacket, I couldn't put any faults to it, but this is the grey version. Now to look at this, you really wouldn't think that this is the grey version. In fact, if you look on the website, some of the literature material shows this really kind of awesome looking dude getting out of the car, and he's got this grey jacket on, and it looks very grey. It's almost as though, you know, they went to a colour wheel and said, right, we've got 100% black, no percent white is black, 100%, 99% black, 1% white, we'll call that grey. So it's not as grey as it looks on the website, and that's one of the things that I'd change. If anything, if I could do that, I'd make it a little bit more greyer. But getting into the jacket, as you'd expect, you know, it's got 2 arms, it's got a body, and it's got a collar. On the front there is a nice big sturdy zip. The zip is a YKK zip, and it's one of the larger ones. It goes all the way up to the chin, and there is a little bit of chin cover there, and then on the front you have a row of buttons that you can then close. These are Canadian style buttons, so they're very large. If you're wearing gloves, you know, you can put the buttons in, and then there is also a collar across the front of the buttons, so that if you're using this, you're pulling things around, those buttons don't snag. They are 100% flush with the collar that goes across them. The zip itself does have one feature that's quite novel, and I guess if you're in security, or if you are using this in some sort of operation and you have something that you need to get to underneath quickly, there is a tearaway zip. So you pull it from the top and the whole zip comes undone. There's a tearaway section here. You know, for me in civilian life, that's, you know, it's kind of cool. I don't really think that I'd use that. The bit that did, I don't know. I mean, obviously I don't come from a firearms environment. I don't even come from a military environment, but for a jacket like this, you'd assume that there'd be some tearaway here so that you could get to a firearm if needs be. You know, you need to get that out of the way before you can then do whatever. But there's no tearaway at the bottom. You have to tear away from the top to be able to do that. So it's more of a double movement. But the zip, it's a YKK zip. It works exactly as it should do. If you want to instead, which is actually my preferred method, and I don't actually do it up with the zip. Instead, I do it up with the buttons. The buttons are, although look at that, the buttons are easy to use whilst wearing gloves, apart from that one because I was not looking. And yeah, but I find with the buttons, because with the buttons you can have the bottom open here when you're in a car or something like that, and it just automatically flares so that it's easier to get in and out of vehicles. I can imagine if you were using this, you were in security or personal protection, if you then needed to be able to get to a firearm, it would also make that a lot easier as well. Again, I have no military background or firearms training. That's what I kind of guess, that really you need to be able to get to that quickly. Already touched on, you know, there's a lot of symmetry in here. You have 2 pockets Here on the chest, these are nice big pockets. These also have those Canadian style buttons on there. There is also a collar that goes across the top and covers the Canadian buttons. These are gusseted so that they can open to create more space in there, but they are stitched down in the corners so that when there's nothing in, they lie perfectly flat. Some of those old style jackets didn't have the stitching in the corner so that they'd always be slightly raised. The pockets down here at the bottom again have these large buttons which are easy to use. These are really large, you can fit a lot in there, they're easy to get into. If you pull that out, again, they run completely flush. Now some of the covert side to this is, there's quite a few pockets that are in here that you don't realise are here. So if you see where this line follows the bottom of the pocket down here, you'll see that it comes around the side, and that's because on the back here there are two large pockets. These can be used for anything, you can put your hat, you can put whatever you want into there, you can fit a mobile phone into there as well. But if you're in a situation where you're running and gunning, these can be used as dump pouches and will fit a standard AR or AK magazine into each of those two pockets. Or the opposite way, if you need to get a magazine from a bag, you can put your magazines into here so that you've got two spare magazines or wherever you want to keep them, to help you to quickly get access to those. Here in civilian life, I don't run around with magazines. I've actually found that whilst wearing a bag whilst I'm out walking, it's really useful to put things like gloves in there because they're out of the way from the main pockets, and the main pockets I can put in the things that I actually need to get to, whereas if there's other things, tertiary kind of items, I can put those in the back. There are other, as I mentioned, other hidden pockets on here. There are quite a lot. So here in the sleeve, you really won't see this because it's stitched so well into the lining. There is a little zip, and this zip pocket opens up into a large pocket which, hopefully as you can see there, goes all the way around. And what I've done is I've put a clear card in there. I've actually used this in a few situations in buildings that you have to get into. If you want not to have to keep getting cards out to get past a security scanner that uses RFID kind of technology, to keep something in there, or even if you're shopping, so that you don't have to keep getting something out to show where your wallet is, you can quite quickly pay for something or gain access to something that's in here and then carry on your day-to-day business. On the front, if the zipper were to be zipped up, on the inside of the button collar here, there is also another pocket. This is a very large pocket. It runs from the zip at the front all the way through to the seam at the back. It goes down as far as this pocket and goes up as far as the top chest pocket. This is what I was mentioning about the extra layers of material that are in here. So there's another 2 layers of material on top of the 2 layers between the front and the back and this chest pocket as well. That's very useful for mobile phones, things like that. Also, if you just do use the buttons that I do, you only have to undo this one button here to then be able to gain access to that. On the inside, we then have more pockets. So on the right hand side, or I guess your left hand side here, there is your standard chest style pocket that you'd be able to put a wallet or a mobile phone into. This again goes all the way down to here, so it's quite big inside, and goes all the way back under your armpit to the seam that runs down the side. What's also built into here is a hip belt pack or fanny pack. This is zipped in, so you can unzip this, take this out, and use this with the elastic that you have here for another covert pocket. If it was maybe that you needed to ditch your jacket at any point and there were valuables on there that you needed, then they would be always attached to your waist. And again, so this pocket that is here is pretty much replicated here, and another layer of protection for warmth on your chest. The last 2 pockets are symmetrical on both sides. So what you have on each side is a diagonal zip pocket. You'll see that there is another one on this side as well, and inside this pocket you can fit, there are 2 compartments for 2 pistol magazines. Now in this pocket at the moment, this is an airsoft magazine. It's supposed to replicate a Glock 19 double stacked 9mm round magazine, but there are 2 compartments in there and they're diagonal as well, so when you pull them out, you'll pull them out from the bottom up to your chest, which if you needed to reload, then you know it's there for you. The back of the jacket, it's completely plain, there's nothing on there, and on the back through here you have 2 zips, and there's a large pull-out hood if needed. Now, as I say, I love this jacket, I really do. Being outside in it, it's kept me warm on the times that it's been snowing. I've not had any issues with feeling cold. If anything, I've been too warm in it. It hasn't been tested in the summer, so what I might do is I might do a quick follow-up video in 6 months time where I wear it just a bit during the day in the summer. I imagine it will be hot because it's a dark colour, but mainly it's during the evening. Will it provide me with enough heat but not too much that I'm sweating too much, and you know, will it breathe, that sort of stuff. One thing to add, and that is the canvas, the Duracanvas and the extra pockets in here, it adds a really nice weight to it, and that's a strange thing to say. It's not a heavy jacket, but it's not a light jacket as well. You put it on and you know that it's there. The canvas feels really strong and robust, and the jacket feels strong. All the stitching is amazing in it, but there's just a nice feel and a nice weight to it. That's one of the first things that kind of struck me was when I got it. I put it on, even just taking it out the packaging, it feels really nice, and yeah, just that weight. As far as jackets go, you know, I'd be happy to wear this out in the moorlands. I'd even be happy to wear this to a social or formal event. You know, I'm definitely going to be traveling with this with work internationally, seeing clients that I get to see, and not having issues wearing this in a professional environment. Highly recommend it. I love this jacket. I really genuinely do love this jacket. At this point, I suppose claiming my undying love to this jacket is probably poignant that I do point out that this was purchased with my own money. This hasn't been sent to me from Helikon Tex or anybody else to do a favourable review on it. It just so happens that I chose a jacket that I genuinely do really like. There will be some affiliate links in the description below, so if you choose to use those, that'll really help out my channel, as I get a small kickback for everyone that's purchased. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It's just, yeah, it just helps to fund my channel. There'll also be some links in there as well for me if you want to follow me on Instagram at Moorlander_EDC. That would be awesome. I'm on Facebook as well. You can find me on Facebook, Moorlander EDC. I tend to be on Instagram a little bit more. Feel free to like, feel free to subscribe and share my content. That would be absolutely amazing. But for now, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. Oh, and happy Valentine's Day. Forgot about that one. Happy Valentine's Day. See you next week.